right. Just checking the stream. It's coming through. Think we're good to go. Awesome stuff. I guess my chat is still from last night. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna be doing more on the Blazor migration from WordPress to Blazor. It's spoiler alert, it's done. At least it's live now. So for folks that are just joining the stream, if you want to do me a favor, test out if the chat is working, please. So I know across platforms that stuff's coming through. Otherwise, I have to go watch on the individual platforms, and it's streaming to 6 platforms right now. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt if people are talking, and I have to like go look on like LinkedIn directly or look on YouTube directly or Twitch. So if you're joining the chat, please just say hey, let me know it's working. I appreciate it. But yeah, like I just said, we're going to be going through the WordPress to Blazor migration. On previous streams regarding this, where I was kind of leaving off was this process that I wrote. So a little program that would essentially connect to my old WordPress posts. So I had basically dumped those posts into a database, and we wrote a program that would go ask that database for the posts, and then I needed to apply transforms. So we were spending all of the time together looking at the transforms for that, and then basically it would go dump those into the new database, which is what the Blazor blog engine is going to be looking at for posts. So that's an iterative process, and I basically, over the weekend, spent a little bit more time, and I said, okay, I think it's good enough. Like, let's go live with it. So it is actually live. There are a couple of glitches. I'm trying to sort through them. So I think we're going to spend some time today. The title of this is still labeled WordPress to Blazor migration, but at this point it's more like diagnosing Blazor things in Azure. So it'll be interesting. The glitch that I'm encountering right now, and it only happens in prod. So kind of interesting. If I run it locally, I don't run into this, but I'm observing that I have Blazor suggesting that there's like the connection is being terminated. And if you're not familiar, like I don't know like all the details for how Blazor operates, but I am aware that it uses SignalR and WebSockets. And it seems like what's happening is it's losing the WebSocket connection, and we can see that in the browser. But it doesn't happen locally. So a couple of interesting things. I am wondering if going through Cloudflare is causing some issues, especially because it's proxied, and I am very, very curious to know if that's the reason. Like that would be one very big difference between running locally and not. Otherwise, like the fact that it's in Azure, like I don't see that necessarily being an issue. But I mean, that is another difference, right? Like the environment is technically different than what I'm running locally. So that's something to consider. But the real challenge right now is like I don't have a lot of visibility. There is no logging active in Azure right now. So I think that's what we're going to do is like I have application insights enabled in Azure, but when I look there, it's just like, hey, there's nothing. So I think we're going to try configuring that at the beginning of this stream, seeing if we can catch a break and see if there's anything interesting going on. So that'll be the first step. If we get through that, I would like to try getting Google Analytics enabled again. Hey, Maria, thanks for joining. Now I know the LinkedIn chat's working. Doing well this morning, a little tired. I'm definitely going to take a nap after this before I start work. So, yeah, I think between yesterday and today, just like a pretty rough start for feeling like I'm not well rested. So it's part of life, I guess. But yeah, otherwise doing pretty good. So we'll try doing application insights in Blazor, making sure that's all working. Hopefully we get through that, and then otherwise, I want to see if I can get Google Analytics working. I did talk to Steven Giesel about the Google Analytics stuff. he was saying he's kind of avoided it. I think for me, I've just had like a heavy reliance on it because that's the only thing I know. But I think we'll see. Once we have application insights enabled, like I was under the impression it was the Google Analytics change that was breaking the functionality for me. And now I'm not so sure. I think it was actually broken before I tried that. Patrick, hello. Good to see you. Thanks for joining on YouTube. Maria, how do I manage everything? I don't know. I barely do. I would say that it's probably not being managed. It's just it's getting by. So, but yeah, I think let's dive into it. I am going to be going back and forth between like my Azure portal. I'm still a little hesitant to do this kind of stuff live because I don't want stuff in the portal to like show that's like secret. So I just want to kind of have that disclaimer that there might be some periods where I'm not showing my Azure portal, because this stuff is live. And like I said, I'm just a little bit nervous because it would be really dumb if I like accidentally showed a secret and this is like a live stream and it's recorded and I'm like, okay, like I have to stop the stream and go take care of this. So I will probably do the Azure portal stuff off the screen, but I'll explain what I'm doing. So I just want to apologize for that in advance because I understand the experience for that probably feels pretty dumb. But I'd rather just be safe about it. So that's what I'll be doing. Okay, let me pull up this article, and I got to get my screen shared. So one sec, I got to move a couple windows around here. So we'll pull that up. We'll pull this up, and then let me switch over to the full screen view. So this is the new website technically. So I know some of it's hidden behind my chat. One sec. Let me just undock that, move this over. So there is like this post page, right? So this is like the archive. So all these posts are migrated over from my old blog. You can see back to 2013, right? So this one doesn't have an actual picture. So this is the default picture when I did migration, but this is like one of the first blog posts I ever wrote. So pretty short one, but like, you know, things evolve over time. If I pick a random one here, right? So this is actually another little change I made. I did this yesterday. The Blazor blog post that Steven Giesel had put together, they have the picture and they're used as like the preview, but I wanted the actual blog post to show the picture at the top. So it's like a one-line change, but I added that in, resizes and everything, and it feels kind of nice to me. But here's like another blog post. It actually has like a YouTube video. It's got the code integrated. By the way, all of this stuff, I just like, again, I want to shout out Steven, like all of this stuff just worked. Like I didn't have to go reformat this stuff. I had to reformat things like some of the headings because if we want the table of contents to work, it doesn't work with HTML tags. So if you were to look at the actual, and we can pull this up. If we look at the actual contents, it's a bit of a hybrid of like HTML tags and then like Markdown, which is a little bit ridiculous, but it works. So not going to complain about that. It made it really easy. Obviously going forward, I will just write my stuff in Markdown, but I wanted to migrate all of the stuff that I had written before. I didn't want to lose like years of blogs. And then something else to call out too, like I'm using the short codes from Steven that he added support for. So at the bottom of my articles, there's like a short code that I add, and it will put in my newsletter sign up. It will put in like an affiliate section. So these are affiliate products. I updated. I guess it would be an upgrade too. I updated my affiliate section to have like a link to Brand Ghost, which is the social media platform that I'm building for helping content creators post content. I have my FAQ section. So this was, if you were on one of the previous streams, this section was getting really mangled. So it's no longer getting mangled, but I will have some work in the future to do. So there's there's a reason for these FAQ sections, and it's not just for extra content. It's so that search engines can actually properly index this. It's extra metadata, and if you're on Google, you've probably seen this before. Let me even just try like app insights Blazor. If I search for this, see how there's like this people also ask thing. So if you expand this, and this is to the best of my knowledge, if you want to be picked up for potentially being like in the people also ask thing, there's like a JSON structure that you can tack onto your web page, and essentially it tells the search engine like, hey, look, there's FAQ content here. So if I jump back, this is supposed to be to help enable that functionality. The challenge right now is that there's a lot of, I was using WordPress plugins to generate all of the actual JSON structure for me. That's all gone now, so I will have to follow up with that. I don't know yet how I want to do that, and just to briefly explain, I don't just think it's a migration thing, because when I go forward writing more blog posts, I want that functionality to exist. It's not just, hey, like, port the blog post over from WordPress, translate it once to make sure it has this JSON structure somewhere. Like, I will probably need to write something that will parse the content, because it has at least in my blog posts, I follow the same structure. There's actually additional like metadata tags that we can use. So for example, there is one for people, there is one for services. So when I have my newsletter posts, I actually have a JSON structure for services. They have them for books, for recipes, and I'm just mentioning these because if you want to run a recipe blog or something, like, this is something that is helpful to know for getting picked up in search. So I will probably write something that will look for patterns in my blog posts and then create that JSON structure. And then maybe even write like a checker or something on, if I scroll back up, if I go back to this like admin page for the post itself, right? And maybe I can write something that's like a checklist for SEO that's like, hey, like, this is parsing out an FAQ section, or this has like blah, blah, blah. But I think that that's probably something I'll be building going forward. I don't know how much of it will make sense to be like backported into Steven's blog engine if he even wants to use it, but maybe some of the concepts he can take. I don't know how much time I'll spend making them generic, to be honest, but if there's ways, like if Steven's looking at it and he's like, hey, that's cool, I wonder if we could, and come up with something generic, then I'd be happy to like spend a little bit of extra time doing that. But otherwise, it might not happen just because I don't have capacity for it. But anyway, it's mostly working. I don't think we've seen yet the glitch where it'll show up at the bottom and it'll say that there's a connection issue. But we haven't seen that yet. These ones that have a gold outline on them are members only. So if I log out, actually this is busted too. Not a huge deal, but it has to do with this return to. It's not handled properly in Auth0. So anyway, if I log out now, oh, it put me to my to localhost. Amazing. Don't use the logout button because you're not going to be. There we go. So see at the bottom. Actually, you can't because it's. See here at the bottom. So this is what we're going to try to diagnose. But my logs aren't coming through. So what I wanted to show you is that if I log out though, oh, it's cached. Crazy. That's not good. So maybe I have to go look at this, but this is technically not supposed to show up because this is a members only post, and you can see that I'm logged out. So there might be something really fishy going on. I still think that it has to do with Cloudflare. And maybe I just have to turn off my proxying through Cloudflare. I was technically just using that with WordPress so that I could reduce the load on the server, and then have a better response time because it's all cached in Cloudflare. So basically, as soon as someone hits the site, if Cloudflare has everything cached right there, it's like, here you go, like immediately. It doesn't have to do any processing on the server. But I have a feeling, to be honest, my gut feel is that that's busting all of the stuff, including the fact that we can see this and we shouldn't. Like if I can I hard yeah, I just did a hard refresh and now see how it says the content's only available for members. So I don't know, and I could probably have debugged that. Like, was it trying to pull from Cloudflare? Now this bypassed the cache. Was it local cache? I don't know. Um, so I guess probably that would have been local cache. Let me. Oh, I want an incognito window. One sec. So obviously logged out. Let's pick a different one. So I don't know. Maybe Cloudflare isn't the issue for the caching. Maybe that was just a local browser thing. I'm not exactly sure. But you can see again this error is coming up at the bottom. If I pull out the debug tools, I'm seeing this. I'm assuming that's what the problem is. Doesn't look good because it's losing the WebSocket connection with the Blazor server side. So what's really weird though is everything still seems to function from what I can tell. So I'm just clicking around to show you, but like as I click, it's loading the posts. Well, sorry, these ones are all member only. Let me pick an older one that's not my newsletter. So here you go, right? Like it's loading everything. Oh, this actually doesn't have the styling. That might be completely unrelated though. I should take a note of this one. So the migration tool that I wrote is idempotent, so I can run it again and it will just like it's not going to add like all the blog posts again, and it doesn't delete them and re-add them. It will update them if they exist because it's maintaining this post ID. So with that said, it's actually safe for me to just keep rerunning it. And what I've been doing is every time I find a post that didn't have the formatting done properly, so this one could be because the server stuff isn't working. Kind of doubt it because I think this is just styled in the front end. But every time it's not working, what I do is I take the post ID, I take the raw HTML that's in the database from the WordPress side. I put a snapshot of that. Let me just show you. Why am I talking about it? Give me one sec. It's still early here. So you can see in the left nav here, I have these migration scenarios. So I would take, like, this is a huge blog post I have, and it was really busted because I was using some fancier features. So basically I have an input and an output file, and every time I'm changing the conversion process, I rerun these tests, and if any of them break, I just update the output file, and then I use Git extensions to go look at the diff. So it's really cool. I have this colored view. There's probably other tools like snapshotting test tools to do this, but I'm just using Git, and I can see, like, did it make this blog post better? And in fact, when I was doing a bit more migration, I was noticing some of the previous migrations were air quotes breaking, but when I would look at the diff, they actually were improved. So then I would just update the snapshot. So this has been kind of nice for going through that process. But maybe one thing we can try doing, if I alt tab back to here. So this one's 5748, right? Let's go take this. Sorry, I realized I said I was going to go down one path and we're going down another, but whatever. It's fun, right? I still want to get application insights working, but I'm derailing myself already. If I go run this now, obviously this is like a kind of a hack way to do this, but just hold on. And we're going to copy and paste this one. We'll have a blog 6 input. And I will change that. And then I'm going to make another copy and call it blog 6 output. Are there better ways to do this? Probably, absolutely, yes. But like, this works. The migration stuff is supposed to be short-lived. Once I have it working, it works. I'm going to keep the code around though, because if I'm ever in the future at a point where I'm like, oh man, I found an old blog post, it's a little bit, busted up. Because of how I wrote this, I can just rerun it again and I don't have to worry. For the most part, I shouldn't have to worry. So let's go run this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the input. Okay, I'm going to take the, so basically this line here, line 132, has the pre-migrated content, and we're going to stuff that HTML into this text file, and then we're going to look at what it output. So let me go run it. I realize this part's not very exciting. I'm sorry. Should go pretty quick though. There we go. So if I look inside of content here, it's ridiculous. Or this is a whole like HTML file. And this is what it looked like before it was migrated. Okay, so all the HTML, this is literally what was on the WordPress blog. And so for just to give you an example, like I'm stripping all of this out with parsing, like regular expressions. A little bit above here, this is being pulled out. So we will see that in just a moment. But this code here was what I was using to put a table of contents on every post. And Steven has that built into the blog engine now. So I am pulling this out, or else we just get left with like a bunch of, bull crap on the page. This here is a shortcode. The shortcode syntax from WordPress is different than what we're using in the Blazor blog engine. Very, very similar. It's using 2 square brackets and then like a name. So these get migrated. I'm just calling out a couple of things to show you, and then we'll see them in just a second. But I suspect something's going pretty weird with this pre-formatted code sections. So I don't exactly know why, but it seems like those are kind of breaking on this particular page. So I just wanted to have a snapshot of this one. So I'll put that on my clipboard. I will close that out, and I'm just going to go put it over here. So now I have it saved. Let's go do a check. Sorry, I jumped around too far. Let's go do a check on the migrated content. I'm not going to look through all of it. I just wanted to call out, like, if you'll notice up at the top here, that whole really big section that said that's actually what's supposed to be right here. It's all pulled out. So the table of contents code is ripped out. And then this short code has been converted. So it might not be fresh in your memory because you weren't paying close attention, and I don't blame you. But it used to be 1 square bracket, and then the ID was in quotes. So this has been migrated. Same with this one down here. It's off the screen for you, sorry. This one has been migrated, so that works. All of the HTML titles are now markdown titles, so it's all working. But it seems like this stuff down here, sorry, it's off the screen. It seems like these code blocks are a little bit dinged up. I'm not sure why, but now we have a snapshot of it, right? So the thing will be that I can go, fix these up, and then I can write a parser that's going to correct these. And I should use air quotes around parser. I'm using a regular expression to do a replacement. So we'll patch those up as needed. But for now, I'll leave it. And just to illustrate, I should probably make this better too and just scan for all the files. So that's another little enhancement. But if I go run these tests, let me build it first. We should see that there is another test added here. So this last test should fail now, right? So I can take the output of that and dump it into this text file. And now I have like a baseline to compare against. But if I change any of the article conversion logic, then I have a bunch of other baselines that I can go compare against as well. So anyway, I'll tackle that off stream because it's probably Not super exciting, but that's that. So getting back to this, our goal is that we want to go address this guy down here, but I'm not exactly sure where that's coming from. So that's the incognito window. Let's pull up this. I'm going to get rid of my email inbox so that doesn't accidentally show up. But we weren't seeing, maybe I can get it to repeat. Like, it's not showing up on this one. If I hard refresh, does it? No. So it's not like, it's not a guaranteed consistent problem. I was curious if it had to do with www out the front. Still no. So like, yeah, it's not always happening. And you can see in the console, I'm not getting connection issues. So it's weird because I don't know what the criteria is for it. I just tried to refresh. There we go. And right now it just seems like it's corrected. I am logged in. If I log out, does that change anything? It's kind of weird. Like, I don't know how to reproduce it. So I'm logged out. If I do another hard refresh, still no. So look, I fixed it. I'm not really happy with that. So let's continue on though. What I want to do is add application insights. So I'm going to make sure that we have this NuGet package added. I'm just going to copy and paste the name, bring it over to, this is running locally, so let me stop that. We'll go to manage NuGet packages here. Application insights is one of those things like I've set up before, but it's so infrequent that I do it that anytime I do it, I feel like I'm relearning absolutely everything. So we'll add that in. Great. Now that that's there, I think we need to go to program.cs. Why is this not scrolling? There we go. So if I jump back to this article, on logging, we should be able to do this kind of thing. I don't think I need this part. Sorry, this is, I don't know why this right panel is like, I wish I could collapse that. Anyway, I don't think I need the filter part. I think that's to create a category that you can filter on. So I'm not super concerned about that, but I'm just going to cut and paste or copy paste. I can't cut off the internet. Can we do, oh, it's not on a service. One sec. I'm also sensing that my USB hub buffer is overflowing because my keyboard is sticky, if that makes sense. So some of the buttons I'm pressing are delayed, and you're probably going to see something like that happen as I'm typing. So just a heads up, if you see me type ridiculous things, it's because my hub is having some issues. Okay, so here is the thing. Really doesn't have... Okay. So this should be what we need, which is great, but I need to configure it in Azure. I don't know what other options we have on here. Can I see options? Yeah, sorry, it's a... If it seems like I'm going super slow, my keyboard is having a lot of fun. There's not a lot of options. This one's interesting. Track exceptions as exception telemetry. Get or set a value indicating whether to track exceptions as exception telemetry. Defaults are true. I think that's what I want anyway, so that's probably good. I don't think we have any options we're configuring on this, which is cool. But yeah, maybe I'll leave it there. It does mean that we have to get the connection string set up, and I will do that in the Azure portal. So What I'm doing on the side, you can't see it because, like I said, I don't want to necessarily share my portal. I just want to make sure that I have this connection string set up. So what I'm doing is I'm navigating to the web app. Maybe what I'll do is I'll navigate there and just make sure that it looks okay before I show anything, because it's literally like all of the settings. So this actually does look okay. One sec. Okay, so you can see application insights connection string, right? So I'm going to be changing that value. I don't actually know if there's anything private in there, so I'm just, like I said, I'm not taking any chances. So if I show it, I do have something set there. So maybe this will just work immediately. Otherwise, I need to go double check the connection string and application insights, which I should probably just do to be safe. So I'm going to navigate there on Azure Portal as well. So if I go to the web app itself, application insights is a tab. I'll pull it over if it makes sense. I don't see the... It says it's connected already, but I feel like the logging's not going through. Anyway, I think it's probably okay. So I'm going to push this change. We should get a build that goes out. And maybe I probably want to put this in an if debug, not debuff. We don't want to debuff anyone. But I think, like, I don't necessarily want to run application insights when I'm just debugging locally. I don't think. Or maybe if I do, I can have a way to configure it so that I can tell it's debug only. But let's go ahead and... Oh, if not debug, sorry. There. I only want this running in production is what I was trying to say. But maybe just to try it locally, I want to make sure it doesn't crash on start, because that's no fun. I don't think I have this set locally, so maybe it will. Okay, yeah, so value can't be null, that's okay. I'm good to try this. We can always revert it. That's the nice thing. So I will push this. There's my Git history. Nothing too exciting there. I just wanted to double check it. So yeah, props file. You can see that I'm adding application insights and then just this block of code. So nice commit message. And then we wait. And that'll go deploy automatically, which is super nice. On that note, I set it up in Azure. It's called a web app. I feel like that's actually not what I want. And the reason I think that is, like, so when we're deploying Brand Ghost is also done through Azure. It's a container app, and it's had negative side effects for Brand Ghost. The container app stuff scales automatically, which is, like, obviously that's like a helpful thing. Like, it kind of feels like magic, except I designed a bunch of stuff to be like monolithic and not to be run in parallel. Like, it assumes only one instance ever. So that has been problematic for Brand Ghost. But, like, long term, that's absolutely what we want. Like, I should design that code to be run in parallel and that kind of stuff. And I've converted some of it. However, like, what would be really helpful for this blog is, like, if I had replicas, right? So with Brand Ghost, when we push up and it's deploying, like, the site just stays active because there's replicas, and it's all just done completely automatically for us, which is super cool. So I don't know why, and I feel like I misclicked or something when I was setting this up, but I made it a web app, and now I feel like I'm being super silly and I missed something, because technically what happens is, like, when this is deploying, my website goes down because I'm not paying for like these deployment slots and stuff. And to be honest, I don't think I want to do that. I haven't like read enough into this, but I think I just want a container app in Azure, and that way it just does it, because it just does it for Brand Ghost, and it's I think it would be so much more convenient here. That way there's a replica that's running for a little bit of some older version of the site, whatever. It's probably only really an issue if there's like schema changes or something, and then like it breaks it. But like, I think that's going to be such a rare thing that I would rather just have the uptime. So anyway, I might look at that later, add that to the list. But I'm hoping that what we'll be able to see with this is that we get the logging taking place in application insights. So let's see if I can go back here. Application insights. Oh, the connection string is on this page. I don't know if the connection string's private. They don't automatically hide it from the UI. So I don't know. Feels kind of weird. But what I want to do is look through some of the logs. And maybe it was already here and I was just being dumb. I didn't see any of these tables before. Chris Blazin. So Chris is actually a new C# convert. Welcome to the club. You'll never go back to using anything else. I'm just kidding. It's only the best language ever, but there are other languages out there, I understand. But yeah, I think Chris is enjoying C#, which is great to see. I know, like, probably for a lot of people that, you know, they've been doing either front-end development. This isn't my dev account, though. Oh, this is the what do they call it? I guess it's like is it like your shit posting account kind of thing? Blazin', yeah, it's cool stuff. Okay, so I didn't realize it. I didn't see this before. I think I went to maybe the wrong spot. Maybe we didn't have to do any of that. But there is this exceptions section, and I think what I did was I went to the applications log itself, and there was no tables. So I didn't see this, which is cool. So can I just ask, I hate this. I hate the UI for this stuff in Azure. It's like the most, I don't know. It's not intuitive to me at all. Like, do I just click run? I don't have a query. Like, I don't even know what query language this is. Type your query here, click one of the queries to start. Okay. Queries. Reports and failures. Can I run that? No query was selected. Oh, if you double click it, it adds it. Okay. Now I can see the syntax. No results found. Okay. That sounds made up. Failed operations. Okay, nothing. We know something's wrong, so nothing. Ugh. Okay, Patrick says it's AQL Azure Query Language. It's interesting. This looks like I don't think it's only internal. We use something called Custo, and it looks very much the same. But maybe the syntax. I thought that was called KQL, like Custo Query Language, but it looks almost identical. I don't know if there are actually differences, but I don't know why like we don't see any errors here. Like, that just seems wrong to me. And maybe it's because we actually did need to make that change and we were just waiting for it. Oh, Patrick, just kidding. I have no idea. What? Come on, man. You're throwing me off here. Yeah, I think, like, I don't know if this is officially like KQL, like Custo Query Language, but like when I'm doing stuff at work, so I work in Office 365 on like the routing plane. So when we're like looking into traffic patterns and stuff, like we use like Custo Query Language when we're looking at failures or just insights across the board. We use it in like deployment. Like we use Kusto a lot for different things, but we use a lot of different data sources as well. So Kusto is, I'm saying Kusto, and I'm like, I wonder if people listening to this are like, what the hell is Kusto? I'm pretty sure Kusto is a thing outside of Microsoft, though. Kusto query language, yeah. Here we go. I promise I'm not making it up. I talked to my friends about Kusto before, and they were like, what the heck are you talking about? But you can see like this syntax here. I think it's the same thing. It kind of looks like SQL, but it's not SQL. It's Kusto. So there we go. Okay, I'm just checking to see if my deployment went. And I think it did. So maybe my site will come back. Oh, application error. Very nice. That's what we want to see. Okay. Is that going to show up in application insights now? See, all of these are like requests. I don't want requests. I want exceptions. Can I just do like limit 10? There's there's just nothing. And now my site's down. So excellent. That's really cool. You can access diagnostic resources. Show me them. I have it on my other screen, so I'm not prepared to show you what's on the screen because I don't know what it's going to be. It's probably going to take me to this. I bet. I'm going to cry if it does. Oh, resource not found. Oh, man. Okay. So that's a bummer. So we don't have log information there. Let me go back to get rid of that tab. Sorry, I'm doing it off screen just because, again, I don't know what I'm about to click onto, and I'm nervous that it'll be something we don't want to see. Maybe I will double check again that my my application insights connection string is actually as expected. I'm not totally sold. There was one there, so I want to assume it's the right one. But like, do we actually know that? No, we don't. So let's see. Application insights. Let me click that. I will get the connection string from somewhere. I saw it before, now I can't see it. Change your resource. No, I think that's all right. Again, sorry I'm doing this on the other screen. But yeah, I can't like... Oh, there it is. A connection string, so... I'm just going to do this comparison quickly on the other screen. But so far, it is looking the exact same. I'm just double checking the application ID now. Because I think that's the only thing that could be different. So, I don't know. It's there. And I'm double checking this. This application insights connection string is literally what I have in the user interface in the settings. So it's just not working, and it's crashing on startup, and I have no visibility. So that's super annoying. Because this is saying like, this is all we got to do. I know it says this filter. I'm pretty confident we don't have to do that. Now, it just goes on to like use it, right? Like in this example, it's just like, and now you can start logging stuff, which is great, but like I can't. So I don't know why. But that's super annoying. So if I go to, yeah, the whole site's just down. It's just like running on AWS. That's not throwing too much shade. That's where I was running before and having issues. So, um, okay. Next thing I want to check is the log stream on the app to see uh, if there is stuff breaking here. Okay. I do actually have, perfect. We have logs. Okay, so a stack trace. Now, can I actually understand what's going on here? Different story. Let's see. Does it tell us anything? Get service. What service is it trying to get? If you see something that I don't, please let me know. Didn't respond to, like, so it's not responding to like a health check, so that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but that's not the exception. Um, Logging is not enabled for this container. That's at the container level, so maybe not a big deal. Do I have to go pull like this log file? See, like this is weird. Like I don't understand why this isn't working. The Chris is saying container port mismatch. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be because this is all handled like automatically for us. So like at no point have I ever had to configure anything on the container. I wonder though, maybe what I'll do to maybe we can debug this locally. And I took a bit of a shortcut. So let me pull this back up. Let me do this. I'm going to put the application insights connection string into the actual app settings here. So let me do that. So I don't think I have anything private in my app settings. I don't. Okay, so just to show you, connection string, there isn't even a connection strings section. This one is different. I think there's supposed to be connection strings as a top level. So like this, and then I can go add, yeah, basically this kind of syntax. And I'm just going to go copy and paste our connection string into here and run it. And we'll see what we get. So let me go do that briefly. Sorry, I'm doing it off the screen. That's the top of my car. Okay, it's running. It's not exploding. Okay. Woo, it works locally. It works on my machine, right? Ship it. Okay, so if I navigate there locally, sorry, my computer's going slow. So this is the local instance. It's running. So this is like obviously a pretty annoying thing because I have it configured. It's running locally, no errors. The same thing, like I was running the site locally, no errors, and I'm not getting connection interrupts. So I don't know. I don't even know if I want to spend time like just trying to debug this on stream because it's a pain in the ass. But yeah, like it does work locally. And you can see like this is not grayed out now. It's actually doing this. I wonder, hold on. This is interesting. Let me explain this. Let me stop this. Sorry, it's all coming together right now. I'm just going to remove the connection string because again, I don't know if any of it's actually private. And okay, so let me explain this briefly. You see how there's some of these have a hierarchy to them? I'm just collapsing the ones with a hierarchy. So there's a little arrow when we can expand it, right? So connection strings is one of these. Okay. When we're configuring them in the Azure portal, if you want to have connection strings with a sub item like this, the way that you need to do that is you would say connection strings double unders. Oh, see the keyboard buffer. Awesome. Okay, so you would do connection strings like this, and then you would have a double underscore, and double underscore tells it that you want to nest it within. So basically, this type of thing would give you the same setup. Now, there's an interesting little thing that I want to see if I can show you. And it's not there. Give me 1 sec. I want to pull it up on the screen. Because I don't know if this is the issue, but we'll find out pretty quick. And if it's not, it's not, whatever. But if I go to the application, sorry, I'm navigating there. Give me 1 moment. Environment variables. I just need a sanity check that everything's hidden to start with. Great. Okay. Let me try to get this all on screen at the same time. There's got to be a better way to do this. Okay, 1 more second here. Okay. Notice when I said I need connection strings double underscore application insights, see how these ones don't have it? There's actually a whole connection strings tab. I should check this because basically what I'm getting at is if we look at some of the other ones like authentication double underscore domain, that's going to be like this block here. Authentication double underscore gives you this nested property. So I wonder if my connection strings tab, let me make sure it's all hidden to start with. My connection strings tab doesn't have it. So that's interesting. Now, maybe I am being kind of dumb here. Oh, no, it is using connection string. So just to give you an example, if we just did this, why does that not work? Oh, whatever. But basically, can I just index into it? Sorry, my keyboard's doing the lagging thing. I think if we did this, I bet you this works. And I just want to repeat it 1 more time in case you're like, Nick, what the hell are you talking about? Doing configuration, indexing into it would give us basically like one of these top level items, okay? But when you use connection string, so let me put that on my clipboard. Oh my God. The keyboard buffer struck while I was doing Control Z and basically undid a bunch of stuff. Amazing. I got to get that fixed. I don't know what's going on. Maybe my computer just needs to restart. Okay, so see the difference between these 2 lines? When we use connection string, it is literally a built-in thing that's looking for connection strings and then like an indented sub-item. So I think that I need to go set my connection string for application insights in the portal, and it will create the nested one for us. So hopefully that's not too confusing. So what I'm going to do is pull this screen back up, right? I'm going to go add a connection string off the screen for us. I have it over here somewhere. 1 sec. And this actually should redeploy it, I think. So the value is going to be that, and then it needs to be whatever's in the code. So this guy, I am going to put that in apply it, apply, and now it's saying your service may restart. That's what we want. So hopefully, hopefully this works. But again, another solution based on how this was done, like it might not have been obvious because I'm jumping around and I apologize. Because this already existed in here, this application insights connection string, because it already existed, not nested underneath a connection strings element in the JSON, I bet you, if I go back to the code, I bet you I could have just done this. Because it's not, like, this is looking for it at the top level, and that's just not what it was expecting to do. So basically the tutorial code is saying, yeah, it should be a connection string, but the default, I didn't make the default one, it was already in Azure, is not putting it under connection strings. So Chris is saying, so here you're indexing directly, but the method you were using before is a getter with the... it's not quite a fallback value. It's just that get connection string. This it literally... Man, typing on this keyboard right now is brutal. It's literally looking for... See how crazy that is? It's extreme programming. Okay, so... Not quite. It's... It literally wants this JSON structure. So when you say connection string, it's looking for this. And if you don't use connection string and you just index directly into it, then it would allow a top level item like this in the JSON. So hopefully that makes more sense. I realize it's a little bit weird. But hopefully this keyboard buffer, man. It's something else. Hopefully the deployment happens soon. Let me jump back and see where things are at here. We should be able to see it here, I think. When did I do that? Maybe not. Well, does it work now? Oh, we fixed it. We fixed it. Connection strings. Woo. Now we didn't fix the actual original issue, but it's not reproducing consistently, which is a pain in the butt. But now we should be getting logs to application insights, which is really cool. So if it does repeat itself, I'm just clicking around to see if I can make it do something. I don't want to type my login on this screen in front of everyone. Stuff like that makes me nervous. Even at work, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And it's like, it's obviously masked, but something about it makes me feel uneasy. Not that I don't trust all of you. Obviously, I trust all of you, but it still makes me feel a little uneasy. So, you know, I can log in. That's all working. If I refresh the page, basically I'm trying to see if I can reproduce the socket issue that we were seeing. And so far, no. So I don't really know, to be honest. So if we go back to application insights, I mean, is it working? So Adrian's saying, not true, get connection string, get the config connection string, and not connection strings. I don't know. Like, we literally just fixed it doing this, right? And it won't work if you already have one connection string for your DB. Yeah, sorry, Adrian, I'm not sure I'm following. So maybe you're responding to Crisp. I don't know. It fixed it what we did. So sorry, and Topcat, I didn't realize your comment on TikTok. When you do it like that, I have a hard time to call it. I don't actually know what that means, so I'm sorry. And then Patrick, kind of like you run a delete statement in production database. Yes, exactly. Except the good news is I can migrate all of my data back again. So as long as I don't run a delete statement on the wrong database, we're good. And funny enough, just to show you, this is kind of good. Okay, look at this. Speaking of running deletes in production, if I uncomment that and run it, it'll blow away all my blog posts. But it's on the destination, which is the Blazor blog, so that's okay. As long as I don't do it on the source one, we're all set. So fingers crossed that never accidentally happens and I lose all the originals. So Topcat saying the connection string, I have to create a class, then call it. I still don't really understand. Like the connection strings are being loaded from the app settings. So we're not creating a class? So sorry, I just might be misunderstanding, but this is how you load application settings in C#. So I apologize if I'm misunderstanding the point that you were trying to get across. But interesting, I don't really know if we're getting anything useful. Like, can I go to logs now and we see page views? Like, can we see anything? Oh, we got to go to queries. That's right. Browsing data. Slowest pages. Like, I don't actually think any of this stuff just works, but no query was selected. No results found. Okay. Can we get anything to work? I don't know, man. So it's not crashing, which means it's at least sending data somewhere. Apparently not here, or at least I can't see anything. And I don't think we have any failed operations yet. So this table's on the requests, right? And I tried earlier doing exceptions, and then I did a limit of 10, right? If I go looking, there's no exceptions yet, or it's just not actually sending things properly. But we saw it go from crashing on start, which is why it said application error, to now it's started and it's doing something. Okay, I'm going to jump back to the code. Topcat on TikTok is saying, how do you call the connection string, say, in some method we have created? You could do this. This is probably going to look brutal because my keyboard buffer is like totally screwed up. So I apologize. You're going to see like that kind of thing happen, but public seal class, Nix class. We can even use a primary constructor, use iConfiguration config, and then we could say public void xxx, whatever the method is. And then you want the config. If you want the connection string, there you go. So that gets you the connection string. The alternative is you can paste it right into here, but like I'm not going to put I don't want to put connection strings hard-coded in my application. So that's how you do it. Or instead of, like I was saying, if you don't have it nested under connection strings, you could just say, get it at the top level. And this would also get you your connection string. So hopefully that helps. Cool. Thanks for asking. I'm glad that cleared things up for you. Again, the reason like this works really nicely is with dependency injection. So if Nix class was registered on the dependency container, if you're not familiar with dependency injection, like highly recommend you look into it. It's like it's like life-changing for software development. Instead of having to say like new thing and then pass in the dependencies and then pass in the dependencies for that, dependency injection just allows you to have that wired up in a what feels like an automatic magical way. I literally cannot write code anymore without dependency injection. So when you go to ask the dependency container, hey, give me Nick's class, it will give you Nick's class, and it goes, hey, to make an instance of Nick's class, I need an I configuration. Let me go see if someone's registered an I configuration. And by default for us, this one is registered. So simply asking for this from the dependency container will give you one with this inside of it. And then, yeah, Chris is saying dependency injection makes testing 10 times better too. Yeah, so, and then Patrick's saying in Blazor it's force DI. Yeah, so it's just so convenient. If you're building an ASP.NET Core, you get that too. It's like built in. You can just go new things up, but like it just makes no sense to do it when all of it's on the container for you. It's truly like the first time that you like use it and it starts to click for you, because I think even for me in the beginning I was like, I don't understand why you would ever do this, but once I started using it I was like, oh man, like cannot go back. And yeah, so Chris was saying it makes testing 10 times better. What I have found, so I do actually like having unit tests for code, but I write unit tests in a way that will mock out all dependencies, so they become very brittle. The tests do, but that's how I write unit tests. My unit tests are testing, like they will literally go over implementation details, and I isolate my method from everything else, or my class at least from everything else. Now, using dependency injection and functional tests, especially if you're using things like test containers, is like again, like a life-changing thing from a testing perspective. I can create my container and it represents what I would have essentially in production, except I might override some things for like local testing environment, like the database I want to access. And I can say, hey, container, give me this service, and it will go pull in everything that it needs to do just like it would in production. So that way I'm dealing with like as close to real things as possible, and then I can just go run methods on it. So it's awesome. So Topcat saying you should do a vid on, it says Unity test. I don't know if you mean unit testing or like truly in Unity. Some of my first YouTube videos are on Unity, which is kind of funny. One sec. Can I see that easily? It's a bit of a throwback. It's funny too because like the quality of them is obviously terrible, and because they were around for a while, I remember like looking and I was like, holy crap, people are actually watching these. I got a lot of YouTube videos. Holy crap. One sec. It says I have 340 YouTube videos. And I got to go to the beginning and I can only go one page at a time. Oh my goodness. We're almost there, I promise. Final page coming up. Okay, what do we got? My first YouTube videos. Yeah, look at these. I even got, oh, we should watch this. This would be cool. When I say cool, I mean, probably not. So one sec, let's see. Can I, how long are these videos? They're pretty short. So yeah, like here's a YouTube video and it had 1,000 views. That's cool. That's better than most of my videos do these days. So yeah, some of my earlier ones are from making games in Unity. So that was pretty fun. Justin saying, very interesting on the keyboard buffer. I've been getting the same thing lately. I go to paste something and it pastes 3 times in succession. Yeah, I think from what I've heard, it's like an overloaded USB hub. But the really bizarre thing is that I use a KVM switch to go between this computer and my what I use for development. And it's the same hub and the same device is plugged in. And I don't have this buffer issue on the other computer. And it just started happening on this one. So I think what's happening is I just need to restart this computer, and it's actually an issue with the computer. That's my guess. So it's super annoying though. But let's see. I want to pull this up. Can we just watch it? Look at this. Look at this in all of its glory. So this was a role-playing game I was making. It looks like crap, obviously. But it's like a turn-based game. It's super dark because it's nighttime. And you can walk around and stuff. Casting spells. It's really hard to see. Sorry. But there's skeletons walking over to attack, and you can... Oh, look how cool that is. I miss making games. If I could retire like right now and like never have to worry about money ever again, I would absolutely make video games, like 100%. I think it's so much fun. So anyway, that's the game. That's the game actually that I rebuilt many times over 20 years. And I actually used that for my first internship to get a job. And it probably did more and looked better like 15 years ago. So kind of funny how that works. Wow, yeah, some of these are super old. You want to see what I looked like when I was a kid? And by a kid, I mean only 4 years ago. One sec, look at this. That's when I had hair. Look at that. That's me. My youthful days. Yeah, early YouTube videos. They're all terrible, but it's a journey, right? So I made a couple back in like 2021, 2020. And then I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I doing this? Actually, we should watch one more. Okay. Sorry. I'm wrapping up the stream basically, but I think this is a funny one. So this is totally unrelated to anything else, okay? But I want to explain this because this is some Nick lore. Okay. This is security camera footage from 2016. This man came to my condo and stole my Roomba. And you heard that right. This man stole my Roomba. Okay? So, the story is that I was having a buddy over for New Year's. He was visiting from out of town, so one of my high school friends. And we said, we're going to go out on the town tonight and we're going to celebrate New Year's. So we went out, and the place that we planned to go was actually closed for New Year's. And because we had no other plans and it was last minute, we were basically forced to go stand in line in Uptown Waterloo in Kitchener-Waterloo area. This is back in Ontario. And we were just stuck in line with everyone else trying to go celebrate New Year's. And in typical New Year's fashion, like, everything's overhyped, it's terrible. And I said, you know what? We're just going to go back to my place and it'll be fun. And there's a couple people that we were standing in line with, and they were like, that sounds fun. Like, we don't want to wait in line either. So we said, no problem. Had a couple people back over to the condo to hang out. Now, I know that sounds kind of suspect because, like, yeah, they're strangers, but whatever. We were already hanging out together for like 2 hours in line. So we go back, and this guy is completely wasted. And he decides that it's time to go home. And he also decides it's time to go home with my Roomba. So let's watch. And I want you to pay very close attention to this man's ankles, which sounds like a really weird thing to call out, but he's got my Roomba, and watch his ankles, okay? See, that's literally my Roomba. His name is Percival. This guy thinks he's brilliant. Okay, watch his ankles. Watch this man's ankles. Get ready for it. Not yet. It's coming, though. See, he's this thief. It's a neighbor. Actually, I think that's his girlfriend. So or his friend or something. I don't know if it's his girlfriend. He's trying to escape with my Roomba. There it is. See that? Look at that ankle roll. Look at this ankle roll. That is a sprain. There is no way that man is not spraining his ankle. And that's karma. And to add insult to injury, this man steals my Roomba and he leaves the charging dock. So not only do I not have a Roomba and I only have a charging dock that I can't do anything with, this absolute idiot has a Roomba that he can't do anything with either, because it can't be charged. And he's probably got to go to the doctor for this stupid ankle. Look at that. Absolute idiot. Anyway, the police didn't do anything about it, as you might expect, because it's just a Roomba, but that is that's the story of Percival going missing. So there you go. That's what you get for staying to the end of the stream. So thanks, folks. I'm going to wrap up. Unfortunately, there's no helpful log information. I don't think it's a good use of time if we're all just sitting on the stream watching me try to diagnose not having exceptions. But we got application insights wired up. I realized that wasn't too much progress, so I apologize for that. So we do have that going. I am probably going to take some time today and try to drop in the Google Analytics stuff. Maybe I can see now if I drop it in, it will not actually be an issue, because now that I've seen it crashing on startup, I thought that when I was getting that socket exception, we saw it earlier on the stream, I thought that was being caused by the Google Analytics thing that I dropped in, because I had only seen it once I had put that code in. However, now that it's been removed, we're still seeing it, and I've seen an example of it crashing on startup. I don't think the Google Analytics stuff was actually an issue. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back, see if it actually is reporting stuff to Google Analytics. So that's one step, which is good. And then, yeah, I'll have to diagnose what's going on with the socket stuff. Again, it's really bizarre because the whole site works still, but I have not yet seen what functionality is busted because of the socket stuff. But I don't want people visiting and it's like got this bar that's like, hey, this site's not working. That's not a good experience for anyone. So I hope you enjoyed that a little bit. Again, don't steal people's Roombas. I think that's not a nice thing to do. They're expensive, man. Like, don't do that. Plus, I invited you over. Like, how rude. What kind of guest steals someone's Roomba, right? Unheard of. Okay, thanks, folks. I will see you next time. It'll be Monday evening next week for the general software engineering / career advice live stream. And then next Tuesday morning, same time, we'll probably switch gears away from this specifically and start building some stuff with AI. So I'm going to be doing a mix of YouTube videos where I'll have them edited so they're a little bit more polished, but I'll try to build things with AI, like specifically. So, hey, ChatGPT, go make this next, and we'll try it out. But I'm going to try it on live stream too, just to see like how painful. So for the stream stuff, it is on, I'm going to type it into both chats. Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific is, Pacific, can't spell, sorry, career. I really can't type today. Plus general, of course, keyboard buffer, and then Tuesday at 7 a.m. Pacific is live coding. Pacific. There we go. So, sorry, I typed that on TikTok. If you're on the other platforms, hopefully you heard me say it, but Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific is general software engineering stuff and career advice. That's also like an AMA. By the way, all of these are AMAs. If you just want me to talk about stuff, just ask. So that one I try to gear more towards general software engineering, 7 p.m. Pacific, and then 7 a.m. Pacific on Tuesday. So the next morning, I try to do live coding. So another reminder, if you're watching this on a platform and you're like, I just happened to stumble upon it here, if you prefer a different platform, it goes to YouTube, it goes to LinkedIn, it goes to Twitch, it goes to Kick, it goes to Twitter, it goes to Facebook, and it will go to Instagram as well when I'm doing the career one, because watching me code on a vertical video is probably the most painful thing, aside from that guy's ankle roll. But with that said, thanks for tuning in, folks, and I will hopefully see you next week, so take care.